So I know I'm a little late to the party, and the Apple Watch Series 6 and SE got released around September 18th, so a little bit more than a month ago. And don't get me wrong, Apple makes great products. The 6 is a great product, the SE is a great product. But in this scenario, I don't think the 6 is actually worth buying it. Buying the Apple Watch Series 4, it was worth it. Buying the Apple Series 5, it was worth it. But I don't think there's that many improvements for the Series 6. And I'm going to break it down and tell you why I think the 6 is really not worth buying it, and you're better off spending your money on the SE and anything else. So let's begin. So right off the bat, there's three main differences between the Apple Watch Series 6 and the Apple Watch SE that really matter, or in this case, really don't matter. So number one is the always-on display. Yes, the Apple Watch Series 6 has an always-on display and the SE doesn't, but does that actually make a difference? Are you staring at your watch all the time? Every time you lift your wrist or lift your hand, it lights up. So the fact that it is black, the display is black, doesn't really matter. Yes, it'd be nice to have an always-on display sometimes. It'd be great to be looking at your watch and you're like, oh, I don't have to twist my wrist. I get it. It's simplicity. But is it actually worth the extra $130? The Apple Watch SE is $270 and the Series 6 is $400. That's a $130 difference just for that. Number two that I want to break down is the ECG. Yes, the Apple Watch Series 6 has the ECG and the SE doesn't, but do you actually need it? And the third point I want to talk about is the blood oxygen, which I really don't like the way they've done it. Yes, the sensor exists, and yes, you can use it, but do you really trust it? And this is what I want to talk about. So starting off with the display. Yes, everyone would love an always-on display. Yes, it'd be great. But the first thing about the always-on display is it's not full brightness. It is half brightness or dimmed level. That means you won't be able to see it always in sunlight or different scenario conditions and where you would still have to twist your wrist. So in that case, I don't think the Apple Watch 6 or even the 5 really matters when it comes to the always-on display. It is just a nice feature to have, but I don't think it's actually worth the $130 difference. And if you do want to get the Apple Watch and have the always-on display, and that is the number one factor that matters to you, don't get the 6, get the 5. The 6 and the 5 are pretty much the same if that's exactly all you need. If you just want the always-on display and all the fancy features that come with it, get the 5. Forget about the 6. Get the 5 on sale. Get it on Black Friday. Get it on Prime Day. Get it on any of these holidays that the 5 will be on sale. It probably costs around $300. So you can get a really, really nice Apple Watch without splurging on the 6, and you'll still get all the same features. So that's what I think about the display. Don't need it unless you really, really want to spend the extra $130, but if you do want the display, go for the 5. Second point I want to go talk about is the ECG. Yes, ECG is a good feature. It's been happening since the Apple Watch Series 4, and it can measure your heart rate with an electrogram and tell you your rhythm and tell you if it's functioning properly. And yes, that's a really nice feature to have, and yes, it's good to be measuring that on you. But from a standpoint of where you're buying it, depending on your age group, if you're anywhere in your 30s, 40s, you should be pretty healthy. That should not be a thing that should matter to you. You won't be measuring every day. Maybe you'll measure once in a while. But remember, you still have the heart rate sensor on there, so it's always measuring heart rate. It's always making sure that you have normal rhythm, making sure there's no offbeats or anything else. Your pressure is not too high, your heart rate pressure is not too low, and so on. So in the ECG terms, I think there's a very small group of people that actually need it. So if you're somebody who has health problems or are worried about your health, then yes, maybe you want to buy the Apple Watch Series 6, which has an ECG sensor to track your health. But for the majority of people, it's a feature that is just in the watch that's most of the time never being used, and you're just paying for it for no reason. And if you do want the ECG, once again, go for the Series 5. There's no difference between the Series 5 and the Series 6 in terms of ECG. The only difference for Series 5 and 6 right now is the display is a little less bright in always-on display, and it doesn't have oxygen level. And that's what brings me to my third point, oxygen level. There's been data that people have been measuring using the oxygen level sensor, and it's very finicky. The issue that I have with it is that the ECG is FDA approved. It has data. You know that it's approved by the Federal Drug Administration and is properly sensing your heart rate and everything else. The blood oxygen level, on the other hand, is there is no approval. There is nothing that Apple said of how accurate the sensor is. It doesn't say how accurate it works. Is it approved by anybody? It's just there. It is there for your information. So if you get bad readings, you don't actually know if it's a bad reading or if that's actually your oxygen level. And that's just a little hard. You've seen people probably by now saying they have 80% oxygen level one day and then 90% another day. That's a humongous drop. That is very concerning. Most of the time you should be getting oxygen level in the 90s range. And if you're really, really, really sick, and I mean really sick, you would be getting it very low. But if you can get it by just sitting and watching TV, there's too much inconsistency for that. So those are my 3 points, and I know I just kind of went through fast a little bit talking about it, but let me break it down to you. If you care about ECG and always on display, go for the Series 5 on sale. There's no point of going for the 6. If you don't care about the always on display, and you don't care about the ECG, and you're somebody in an age group which you'll probably never use, there's no reason to splurge on the 6. Maybe splurge on the 5, but worst case scenario, splurge on the Apple Watch SE. And this is why I think the Apple Watch SE is the best budget Apple Watch. It covers everything you need, it has everything except the ECG, always on display, and the oxygen level, which I think it's a first try, but they need to get it approved to tell you how accurate it actually is. Another kicker is at the $270 price tag for the Apple Watch SE, you can use those extra $130 and get something else, like get a matching Apple AirPods. Get the AirPods plus the Apple Watch SE, and it's only going to be a little bit more expensive than the new Apple Watch 6. So now this is the kicker. Don't get the 6 at all. It's not worth it. You can get 2 products for almost the same price as just the Apple Watch 6. And this is what I kind of don't like about the Apple Watch 6. There isn't really anything new. The ECG existed, the always on display existed, and the oxygen level, it's just not up to par with Apple standards. And you might want to wait till the 7 or the 8 for that to be up to standard. So this is what I'm saying. Don't buy the 6, buy the SE. It is worth every penny, does everything you need. You won't miss the ECG, and you won't miss the always on display. You're not staring at your watch 24/7. It's there on your wrist for a purpose, to get information, to track your heart rate, and anything else that you bought it for. This is my breakdown why I think the Apple Watch SE is the top Apple Watch to get right now. Go for it. It's worth every penny. And if you think differently or you agree with what I'm saying, comment down below. Let me know, what series watch do you have right now? Are you considering getting the new one? Comment down below. What do you want to buy? And also subscribe to my channel to not miss any more tech reviews, because there's more tech reviews coming along and other comparisons that I will be telling you about how you can save more money, buy cool tech, and not splurge on things that are not needed.